Okay, gonna test, jumping on early just to test stuff out. 22222. All right. Let's see if everyone can sort of see what's going on the screen. Okay, hopefully my mic settings are okay. They're not too distorted. Let me see. Let me see here. Jumping on early. See if we can share this. Okay, got that. All right. Close. All right. Close that. Okay, I think I'm gonna get started just because I want to test out everything here. Okay. We don't need the storyboard plugin. May as well turn that off. But we do need screencast keys, and we've got the grease pencil on as well. All right, draw mode. Let's see here. Okay, we've got lines. Yep. Let's just check out to see if I'm on the right plane. There we go. All right, everything seems to be working all right. Let's see now. Oh yes, that's what I've got to do. I have got to go get my new glove, don't I? Yes, be right back. Set up the new glove. Yes. He will be right back. Yes, and I am right back. Hi, Joe. All right, let's see if this works. Sorry, I just had to get something. Oh, just a second. Bum, 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 bum. Turn some stuff off. Right. Let's get back to it, shall we? I think I should start drawing. Got some viewers here. Welcome, early people. Right. Yeah, I just jumped on early so I wouldn't be messing around so much when I get things started. What I wanted to do was just test out some settings, mainly. I am, let's see, is this thing visible? Is this little toolbox controller, the HUD controller, visible? And could I put this in a better place? Seeing we don't need that, definitely maximize our screen real estate. I think this one was, yeah, actually I should probably make a palette for myself at some point. Where can I put this? Should I put this over here? Right. And I'm going to see if, no, that's, okay, seems to be visible in the live stream, but, oh, hello, now it's completely disappeared. Interesting. Oh, hang on. No, there it is. Got it. Okay, got it back. Excellent. So you're there. Go 1, 2, 3. And we're going to save this file. Excellent. Just going to get myself some reference pics up, I think. Do I need them? Kind of know what this character looks like now. Been practicing a bit. Why don't we just start? Okay, so we've got our yep, she does look a bit wonky in reverse. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Say hi if you've just joined. I'm going to get to some drawing here eventually. Let's see, edit. It's been a while. But I thought it might be time to get things moving again. Maybe I'll just draw over that. Just trying to move a few things around. Let's go back into draw mode and we'll go back into front view. Maybe we'll do that draw over straight away. Get things started. Looks good. Thanks, Noel. Yeah, just started. So I'm going to start with some pencils, I think. So these lines here are my sketch. I think that's the right orientation. And we might go with... Nope, we don't want green. We want... Definitely want a grey. And we want to increase... Boy, that spacing, oh, why is it, there we, it's really interesting. Somehow the dot stroke, texture, graphite, is that interesting? Line style dots. Seem to be just having a few issues with the pencil style, because what I want, okay, maybe graphite pencil will do it. No, it still looks awful. What is going on here? Let's go back to my pencil blue. That should have graphite pencil. That's working okay. Maybe I'll just stick with pencil blue and just, okay, so the blend is 1, is it? And here, yeah, I think I'm going to stick with my... Oh, I like that one. No, I don't like that one. It's a fine line. And the red is just a little bit too invisible here. So, boy, lots and lots of testing. So, what I recently did is I discovered a few more tips and tricks. So if you guys are seeing this little 4 panel HUD here, I'll just increase it for you guys so you can see it. Right. Yeah, I'm actually using the Toolbox Elite that I did a promo for, and it's helped me out immensely because basically I've just assigned all my shortcut keys to this so that I can work much more efficiently with my left hand, and my right hand is given all of these tasks. So yeah, these little things like, just sort of sending signals about the view is really good. Okay, so anyway, sorry, what was I doing? Pencil blue, graphite. We're on pencils now. Great. I'm just gonna undo that. We want, I'm just gonna untag that for a second. Or why don't we make a new brush? Why don't I go pencil gray? Maybe we'll grab this icon here. No, bugger. Pencil gray. Urgh. A drawing brush. Yes, okay, so we've got these. Now I do happen to have here we go. This'll do. Grease press. Pencil. Yep, there we go. Nice. Okay, streaming is alright. Okay, I think we better get on with some drawing. Yeah, I keep saying that and just not drawing. So I think we'll start with this face here. Nope. We need to get grey, unpin it. Yep, there we go. Right, so we'll get this stroke in. Okay, so why don't we do the eyebrows in here first. And there's going to be a little gap there. I love a little eyebrow gap. It's just such a great character bit, Let's get the eyes in here. The nose is going to be there. A little sneer in the lips there. Need to remember to turn that on with the streams I moderate. Subscribers only. Oh, right. Right, so people have to subscribe to join. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Maybe I'll leave it on. Maybe I'll get more subscribers this way. But I think as soon as people subscribe, they can watch, they can comment and stuff like that. So the rules aren't too drastic. But yeah, I want to do a lot of these and definitely start getting that subscriber count up. Oh, it's a good thing. Oh, thanks, Corey. Awesome. Right. So I hope you guys all had a okay new year. It's crazy times again, isn't it? But yeah, what's been happening? What's been happening? Well, this year is going to be a big year because I actually have one client that's going to be giving me about a year's worth of work, which is good. So I think I should still have time to do the occasional stuff on this channel. But you're probably going to see my stuff in some other streams that are fairly popular too, and I'm sort of excited about that. But yeah, won't say too much more. It'll help strangle the spam bots. Yes, well, that's always a good thing. Not that I get too many spam. Oh, you know what? You can never be too careful. Hey. Right. Yeah, and who knows? Like, I just started trying some other things, so I jumped on TikTok if anyone's interested, and I started doing little speed paints there, and I was thinking maybe I could put this sort of thing, put one of the speed paints in, was it 9:16 mode for TikTok, and see how that works. Right. But yeah, yeah. If anyone's on that platform, if anyone likes that platform, you can find me. I think I am just Pikajeji, something like that. Oh, look, I'll throw a link in if anyone wants in a little bit. Do what Grant Abbott did. Stream some of the work you do for a client if the client approves. Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, so well, let's say who the client. I mean, look. No, at the moment I'm not. They will have their own streaming platform, and so like yes, if I can, I will. But like, it will probably be on their platform, which means that I could definitely notify my subscribers saying, hey, look, I'll be streaming on this platform. Come over and say hi. I mean, it's a free platform. There's no like fees involved or anything like that. So it's not as if people have to pay to see me somewhere else. So I guess that's a good thing. But yeah, look, I might ask because if there's something that I can do for a live stream here, it'd be nice bit of I don't know cross promotion or whatever that is. Okay, so trying to get the base strokes down here. This is basically to get my hand back into practice as well because I drew the roughs a couple of days ago and I really do need to see how this begins to look a bit wonky when I flip it, right? So I've got to. Is it just because it's darker? I mean, this is supposed to be a perspective eye, but like the perspective's not supposed to be that bold. So maybe if we take out this eyebrow part here, redraw it in. Don't forget that there's a little gap there. It's looking better already. Let's just jump into edit mode. I think I'll throw, and let's grab some verts. Hey. Oh, look, it's good to be back, guys. You know, it's been a while. No, front view. Damn it! Oh God, escape. Front view. Okay, still getting used to the toolbox here. What was I doing? It's grabbing that. Yeah, it's been a while. Work has kept me busy. I've been doing storyboards for a CG cookie production, and been sort of finishing up some fairly large jobs over the past few months, and it's been a real struggle to sort of try to keep this end of the creative stuff up. I mean, even Patreon took a hit. I think I've just dropped Patreon back to kind of like a tip jar, but if you're over here from Patreon, yeah, I've basically made all the posts there unlocked for patrons, so there's only really one level to jump in at, and that's the lowest level, and most, if not all. Most posts, I'll say most, are available to those people. Oh yes, they are. They've been around for a while. The team is fantastic. I love working with them. They're a lot of fun to talk to. Even just I get a kick out of all the meetings and stuff that we have as well when we're talking stuff. So I really hope I can show off some storyboard stuff soon, because I'm about 2/3 of the way their Act 2 for their short film, and I can't really give too much away. Okay, she's looking good. I think what we'll do is we'll jump straight onto inks. Yeah. Oh, yeah, inks, because we're almost coming up on 2, which is when I told people that I'd be here. Good. So why don't we jump onto inks? Yeah. So yeah, I can't really say too much about the project, unfortunately, but it's a lot of fun, and we are going great guns. Stabilize. Let's go 20 on that one. Still stuck on graphic. That's what I don't like. I mean, we should just default. There we go. Nice. I watched Jonathan Williamson back when Blender 2.5 was in alpha, or was it? Yes. Oh my gosh. I met Jonathan Williamson back in 2013, I believe. And yeah, great guy. Yeah, he definitely got me into the CG Cookie side of things. Like, his tutorials were some of the, I want to say the slickest, the ones that really got me into it all. He's around. He's not a tutor anymore because, well, reasons. But he still has a presence. I think he manages the Blender market stuff, if I got that right. While Wes Burke manages the CG Cookie end of things. Yeah, they're actually a really great learning resource. So if you're not familiar with CG Cookie, yeah, they're worth checking out. Jonathan Lempel just released a fantastic free Blender introduction course, and I highly recommend it. Number one, it's free. Number two, it's kind of short. Like, you will learn, all the basics of Blender 3.0 in a phenomenally short amount of time. So if you're sort of thinking about jumping into Blender for whatever reason, yeah, look, it may actually help to post this link, and I'll probably have to put the link in the show notes as well. CG Cookie. Bear with me for 1 second while I just get the link to the basics course. So, of course, if anyone's interested, Blender Basics. Here we go. Copy and paste. Oh, there we go. So if anyone wants to check that out, yeah, it's definitely a recommend from me. I helped Jonathan out on an upcoming little Blender course that will be a paid one, but it's worth doing because it's a modeling course. As I was doing a lot of concept work for their film, I ended up doing some concept work for a couple of tutors there, and so yeah, you'll learn how to model a really cool kind of a Game Boy device, but CG Cookie themed, and I took their brief and designed the thing. So yeah, that's going to be a fun one, actually. Okay. Yeah, she's looking all right. She's looking all right. Let's flip this and this is sort of the boring bit, isn't it? Like, you know, it's not always too exciting to see the adjustments going and all that sort of stuff. And of course, you know, I'm hoping to get another speed paint out of this. But if you haven't seen Arcane, gosh, what are you waiting for? Oh man, it is... I was blown away. I was just absolutely blown away. I mean, I'd heard it was good, but you just don't get how on so many... It just works on so many levels. It's one of those shows that, for me, it just ticks so many boxes. Animation, A+. Acting, amazing. Just voice cast was great. The effects, I mean, goodness me, they had so many cool merging of effects, you know, like a lot of 2D effects are sneaking into 3D for whatever reason. There we go. And yep, she's lopsided. V is all over the place. I know. I'm quite surprised that people didn't vote for Jinx, because like everyone was like, oh, Jinx, everyone's drawing Jinx. And I was thinking, yeah, look, I'll put her on the list. I just wanted the characters that people weren't, you know, seeing everywhere. And so, yeah, I put 2 in. Like, in terms of all the characters, like, I loved the minor characters in Arcane. They were just all so good. How do I... Okay, proportional... no, I want to go... all this. I haven't keybound this particular keystroke here. So... yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, the characters are just also damn good. I don't think there was even a minor character that I felt was superfluous or out of place or whatever. They just delivered on so many levels. You know, some characters I'd wish would stick around, and you got a voice cast like Shorea Gladishu is one of the guards. Haley Steinfeld is V. I like the snarl. Oh yes. Okay, good. So Noel approves of the snarl. This is good. This is good news. See if I just can tidy this snarl up a little bit, because I want to get these inks nice and tight. So I picked this time because it's sort of a good North American time, but I sort of have to look at my analytics soon. I hadn't done this for a while to see if it works for more people at another time, but I definitely like working it around this time because it's part of the work day. Works for me. Hi Andy, welcome. Jan Skolf did V2. Is it V or VE? Oh, I don't know. Or is it VI? I mean, it's obviously there's a play on the Roman numeral VI. I just Vi, Ve. I'm gonna have to rewatch it now. Thanks. Let's jump into draw mode here again. I thought they pronounced it V. Someone definitely have seen it in the last 5 minutes and knows the answer to that. I bet. Oh man, okay, so one thing that is annoying me with this toolbox control is every time I press the tab equivalent, I get a double up on the menus sometimes. All right, so let's go to, is this going to be thick enough? That's what I want to know. These lines going to be thick enough. Edit. No. Let's select all. Let's go. Zoom in a bit. What was that? Scale them up a little bit. Yeah, that's looking a bit better. Yeah, she's definitely going to look a bit toony, isn't she? I need to find Arcane then. Yeah, it's on Netflix. I'm aware that not everyone has Netflix or watches it, or I'm not going to judge however people see it, but it is one of those properties that is just, oh my gosh, I can see why people gush. I can see why there's so much fan art around it. It's an animation tour de force. It's like, I think that the French studio that worked on it did such a good job. Okay, so I'm going to just look. I'm going to keep this rough, mainly for timing reasons, because I kind of want this to have a bit of a rough look as well. So I won't go too detailed on this one, maybe, just out of time constraints and consideration to everyone here. It's always been a bit of fun doing these, just talking into the internet, getting some response. I'm going to start, I was thinking doubling up on the polls, but because it's a free Patreon poll, I thought I might just sort of link it in the community notes over on YouTube so that people know that they can go there. They don't have to be a patron to vote, and then I can sort of tally up all the results, and I'll sort of make sure that everyone can vote, so it's not just open to Patreon subscribers or followers or that sort of thing. See how that goes for a while, I think, so that I can get a little bit more interaction on these. Right, Vi is short for Violet. So do they call her Vi? Damn it, why can't I remember something like that? Cousin on my partner's side, her name's V, so yeah. It's one of those names. Could go either way. Okay. Let's get this eyebrow drawn. Ooh, you know what we can do here? Instead of this, undo, I'm going to go solid fill, black. Let's undo that. There. And solid black here. Although she has kind of reddish eyebrows, doesn't she? They're not straight black like this. Now, do I do circles or do I draw the circles? Ugh. Let's get that hair contour and stuff in too. So, boy, feel a little rough today. Haven't done a detailed one in a while. Hope this is turning out okay. It always looks amazing on Speedpaint, doesn't it? Like, zooms through the process. Okay. Let's reduce the radius there a little bit. There are a couple of things in grease pencil that I kind of wish they would do. Like, I've always liked the option of seeing when you see the radius up here, where it says radius up the top. I'm sort of mousing around it a little bit. When I scroll it up and down, I see the number go up, and you can see the shortcut keys down here for increasing and decreasing the brush. On the Toolbox, I've actually assigned that to one of the wheels, so I can go backwards and forwards with this. But in programs like Photoshop, you sometimes get a, let me see, the eraser has it. So let's say that I had, no, hang on, there's the eraser. There, do you see that ring, right? I kind of wish that I could see that when displaying the brush size, but it doesn't seem to do it for brushes, or maybe I've just got the wrong setting. Don't know. Anyway, let's get this hair finalized. Oh, speaking of yarn, I mean, how good did his sculpt turn out, eh? Like, that guy... I love watching him work. You know, even though I know it's like super sped up and everything, just that he doesn't just sculpt, he also paints and models, and he just sort of switches between the modes of whatever works, you know? And so sometimes he'll be sculpting some lips, and then he'll jump into texture paint mode and get those lips painted in and stuff like that. Yeah, oh, he is. There is such a talent pool out there that is just phenomenal. And, you know, it's such a privilege that in this day and age we can sort of interact with them on things like Twitter and YouTube and all that sort of stuff. So they're not always working in a vacuum, in a vacuum. And what I love about doing these sorts of things. Okay, so why don't we focus on these eyes before we do the other inks, because we need to do a couple of things here. So we'll start with this. I won't do a perfect circle. Enter. And if we do solid stroke, bring down the radius quite low. Okay, don't mind this for now, because what we're going to do is jump into edit mode, and we're going to delete one of these points, delete one of these points, linked, delete all of those points, and then these points here, I can go Alt S and scale in. Let's just zoom in here so we can see what we're doing nice and big. Ooh, here's a question from SodaPop. What's a good current tutorial to learn grease pencil? Or should I learn the basics of Blender first? Well, okay, thanks for that question. Do you know Blender? Like, have you dabbled? Have you used it before? First, like, what is your proficiency with it? If you've never opened up Blender before, yes, it is definitely worth doing like a basics course, and Jonathan's is probably the most up-to-date one. After that, there are a ton of grease pencil tutorials out there. I mean, I've got one on Udemy, which is quite good, but it's a little bit outdated now because it doesn't work in, well, it still works, but it doesn't have a lot of the up-to-date stuff that you sort of see in 3.0 now. So, like, I can possibly tell you that there'll be one coming up later this year, from me, and it will possibly be free as well. But yeah, look, I haven't got that out yet. Yeah, they do. They do have different workflows, but like a solid knowledge of Blender does help, especially when it sort of comes to basic shortcut keys or just recognizing your viewport settings and stuff like that. Like if you're not familiar with it, you can jump into Grease Pencil and not have much Blender knowledge. I mean, that is something you can do, but you have to sort of treat it like an Illustrator type program or a vector painting type program. So if you're familiar with those, jumping straight into Grease Pencil is actually pretty easy. Yeah, that's a good point, Noel. Learning the tools and features is important, but the workflow and artistic process is an individual thing. Yeah, depending on what you're used to drawing in, the hurdle with Grease Pencil is quite clearly the interface. Sort of, you know, if you know how to draw, let's just assume that we have drawing knowledge or even some basics down. Grease Pencil can be a really great thing. You're welcome, Phil. Hi, welcome. It's been a while. Hope you had a good new year. Yeah, so like one thing that I like that Grease Pencil really um, allows you to do is you'll notice that these lines are very smooth. And if you hadn't seen before, under this stroke setting, I've got this stabilized stroke right here that I'm circling with the mouse. Everyone can see my mouse cursor, right? I'm hoping they can. um, and this, if I turn that off and try to draw a straight line, it's a little wonky. But if I turn that stabilizer on and try to draw the same line, it does an interpolation. You sort of can see this bit of a lead in stroke, and that draws a bit of a radius around it and then will interpolate like the average of that stroke or something like that. I'll just undo those lines. And that's really good if you want to do these sorts of bandage type lines that have to be very smooth. Right. Yeah, we need a couple more here. Now this one's going to be... I think I'll try to do this with shading to sort of give the... I think she's sort of got very thick arm bandages, doesn't she? Yeah. Oh, good. Cursor size is good, so you can see it. Excellent, excellent. Um, yeah, that's a trick I learned with OBS. Does allow you. I'm using OBS to generate the stream, or however it works. You know, YouTube goes to OBS, and OBS recognizes the API from YouTube, something technical like that. You know, it's all black magic. And but Michael Bridges of Canopy Games, that I've done a tutorial for, he gave me this really awesome tip, and that is to use what's called your magnifier tool, and allow that to drive your cursor, and then switch it off in OBS, and you sort of get a much more... I don't know, he sort of said that it works better for some reason. Okay, I'll just take his word for it. So, I had a question here. Can we change how many points are in the stroke afterwards, or just dissolve points? Yeah, now let's see. I think... Let's see here. Is it under advanced input samples, stroke, smooth iterations? I think these have got something to do with the amount of points. So let's just draw a line here, okay? So let's say we've got this line. I'll just zoom in here, right? And I'll go into edit mode, right? And let's select all the points. Everyone can see those points. Yep. Right, you can see that some are bunched together where my stroke was smoother, and but as soon as I sort of began to go faster to do that, they're more spaced out. And so there's a certain amount of points that it puts down. Now let's see, if I, doubling up. If I go, let's say we go input samples, let's drop this right down to something like 2. Maybe turn off post-processing and do a line again. Going to edit mode. And linked. That looks a lot more dense, doesn't it? So I'm thinking it could be one of those inverse things where input sampling. No, let's turn that up, but let's not put the post-processing on. I think this is what controls it. So let's go one more there. Edit mode, linked. Okay, so that, as opposed to, right. So I think the post-processing is what causes the interpolation. So yeah, I think that's what it is. All right, so we go stroke, post-processing. You can smooth it out, you can set the subdivision step or iterations, and this default, or simplify. This is a roundabout way of saying, if you get this simplify up, right, it will adapt the amount of points on there. So the higher you have simplify, so let's do this. Let's go 0.5, right? And now let's do a stroke, right? Look how jagged it is. I don't even have to go into edit mode. And you can see that the points are much less. And so simplify under post-processing is how you get a really degraded line. So simplify on its default gives you a nice balance between a smooth line and as few points as possible, and a really jagged line if you want to drop those iterations down. I hope that that explains this little part of how to get those lines. I'm just going to delete all of these points and get back to drawing as I answer the next question. Let's get back into draw mode here. All right, she's looking pretty good. She's looking pretty tight. There's going to be very little cleanup to do here. I might throw in the little eye glints. Should I do that first or after? But first, why don't we go ahead and answer this question? So, Sodapop, you ask, do you find the brush engine to feel better or worse than the raster vector? Seeing so in Blender, you're actually drawing with vertices and lines. Raster and vector are different. Vectors like Illustrator, rasters like Photoshop. Yes, I think I know what you mean, because when are you talking about, like, in the image painting or vertex painting section of Blender, I think that actually does use raster. I do find the grease pencil one much more intuitive, better to use, because not only do I get these awesome pens, right, these ink pens and stuff like that, especially when using a Wacom tablet with pressure sensitivity for the radius and even the strength if you want it, and then knowing that going into edit mode, all right, I can then edit this line. Okay. Oh, no, it's okay. You don't, derailing the stream. No. I like answering questions. This is the sort of interaction that I really like here. So this is sort of part drawing, but the tutorial aspect is kind of fun. There's another section, another way of editing a line in edit mode up here. It's called curve editing. And this will blow your mind. Okay, so it will take a point, right? So let's grab this point, and now you can edit that point just like a vector curve, right? So if you prefer to work like that rather than seeing each individual vertex, because if you use that, you need to have this proportional fall off tool to sort of simulate that, but you can already see how it gets jagged. Yeah. So yeah, that's another way you can edit a line. So yeah, I do prefer to work in the brush settings for this, definitely. I'm just gonna save my work here a second. So the Arcane, let's go whip one. Let's do an iterative save there. Great. All right, so might have to do a little bit of cleaning up. Not much, but just enough, because again, this is a speed paint. Yes, it is kind of I know, right? I tend to get excited about very little things, so I apologize for that. You know, it's like, oh, guys, you could curve edit. Isn't that amazing? It's the best thing ever. And it's like, it's just a curve editing, dude. It's nothing. Yeah, it's all good. You know, and I'm just like there, wetting myself over it. What's going on here? Just need to. Oh, hang on. Huh. All right. Medium point. What is? Have I locked off a? Have I locked something here? Interesting. Huh. Okay. Just trying to see what's going wrong with some of these controls here. I need to assign a keystroke for this, I think. Sort of proportional editing. Okay, so let's just take away the lines and see how this ink is. It's a bit bland, isn't it? But maybe we can do something with the colors. Let's flip it. Oh, yeah. See what I mean? When you flip it and it just looks a little bit too wrong. That's where my editing comes in handy. You know. Ugh. Grab all of those eyes there and move it over a little bit. Yeah, does it look sort of wonky to anyone else, or is it just me? It's like you went over center with one of the lines and it got stuck. Yeah, that could be what happened. I keep this snarl, but I want to make it even. Sometimes I like to simplify things a little bit further. And use existing geometry, line work, what have you. And there. So, does Blender GP have a good line tool for inking roughs? I think so. Like, I tend to like its tool set, because it's. I don't know if any of you have ever used Clip Studio Paint. It sort of reminds me of the brush set that you get there. Let's just move this out of the way. Which is a, looks like a nice painterly, does get in the way, doesn't it? Okay. Still looks lopsided to me. Maybe it's just all of the mouth. Let's rotate it a little bit. And then let's go back here. She looks all right. I like the cut in the eyebrow. Yeah, me too. It's one of her best features. There's just so much personality in that. So I've actually made some tools like the defaults, like this lasso tool, for instance, right? So it just makes selection a lot easier, because I think we were talking about basics and stuff like that before, and someone mentioned, you know, oh, do I learn grease pencil? Do I learn the basics of Blender? That sort of thing. And look, to be honest, there are some techniques that I find are kind of universal, and the number one universal tip that I kind of have for this sort of stuff is learn a workflow that works for you. So I've been using this little gadget called the Toolbox, and what I like about it is that it is fully customizable. But I have customized it in a way that works for me. It may not work for everyone, right? But the beauty is that you can sort of take a preset and then sort of say, well, I don't like that control. And you can very quickly assign a different control to it, and just keep working, you know? That's it's sort of what I like about this particular tool. Now, I think the eyes look a bit weird to me, probably because I'm used to that, you know, little glint that they do, and so that's definitely a shading thing. So I might get on, and I think she's got a nose ring too, doesn't she? So let's just go nice small radius. How do nose rings go? Got the outer nostril here, and they kind of go like that. Yeah, that's it. Okay. How's the coloring tools? Well, there are some improvements in the coloring tools, and I'm just about to jump onto colors, actually. So why don't we take a look at them? Okay, I'll just get this ink stroke finalized. Let's make it look as, oh, no, didn't want to. Okay. Okay, object mode, right. Well, okay, let's get some colors down, yeah? Seems complicated when I saw yours and Grant's videos about it. So, to begin with, what I might do is a quick mask, all right? And what that mask will do... Oh, wait a second. Jacket needs a bit of tapering right there. The mask will do is allow us to then more easily fill things in. So let's go, okay, so we've got our pencils. I'm going to add a layer. Let's call this color mask, right? Oh, thanks, Noel. It's one of the things I like about it because if I don't like how something's tapered or something's just not looking right, I can just go in and I can, you know, just go, okay, this is a little too thick. Let's go to the inks layer. Let's go into edit mode and let's Alt S and scale that down. And I can just bring in that ring of influence, right? And so now this looks a little bit tighter, you know? It's there, right? And because these are vectors, you can just grab them and move them to where you want to be. So like if you're 99% there with a line, you go, oh, you know what? I really like this stroke, but I don't want to draw it again to meet up here and stuff, right? You just grab the line you wanted to edit and just tweak it that ever so slightly. And it looks so much better, you know? So now that bit of hair looks a lot more polished, you know, a lot better. Now, where was I? Color masks. Yes. Okay. So yeah, there's some thickness here, which I'm going to readdress in a second. But right now, we want to put a color mask down. So I want to go into draw mode. I want to go into solid fill. Let's see. Materials. That's a gray. Okay, that's already a gray. So we'll just use medium gray or even a pale gray, right? And yes, there is a bucket tool, but I've got a lot of open lines here, and I've done a lot of work with some open lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the stabilization down a little bit so it doesn't get too bogged down. And I'm going to draw an outline. See, now this is a fill material, right? Now what I can do is I can take it in parts because it's a solid object. And I don't have to get exact because my hand might run out of, I don't know, it might cramp or something. And so I can just continue to add bits of fill here. And so long as we get this outline filled in, everything's kind of cool. Yeah, usually you'd want to maybe put in some construction lines, but there'd be a heck of a lot of construction lines to put in on this particular drawing just because it's so rough. Even if you had settings that would, you know, ignore fairly large gaps. There's a lot of gaps to ignore. I can also go into edit mode and say, grab one of these verts here and just nudge it into place. Now, I have a proportional fall-off tool. That's this thing up here, right? Proportional editing. And there's several ways you can do proportional editing. The smooth works fine, and I generally stick it to connected because if you have it off connected, it means that it influences everything around it that's not on a locked down layer. Okay, so far that mask is all right. It's okay. It's not perfect, but it's okay. I'll go back into draw mode and let's do some more masking out. Okay, so yeah, I'm getting messy here. Let's just, okay, obviously my hand's running out of Wacom real estate. But this is all going to be on one layer. Okay, and so long as we do the hard work on this layer, all right, I'm going to show you, this is the trick that I now use when doing fills. All right, so let's look. That's good enough. Okay, we can fill in a little bit more if we needed to. All right, let's just zoom in here. Going to edit, and we'll just grab that. Just adjust it. Oh, come on. Okay. I think my toolbox has either decided to go to sleep or run out of battery. Let's try this again. Okay. Sorry, I just got to jump over to the Toolbox control panel. Just reconnect it. Okay, we're back. So let's see now. Yep. Yep. You and you. And, oh, what did I just do? No, 2D animation. There we go. Let's just save that. Great. So we'll go back into edit mode and just tweak a couple more of these. Right, so we've got a pretty good mask going here, right? But it is just, you know, a shape or a bunch of shapes that we can now use, right? And this is where the time saving comes in, right? That's our layer, object mode. Go into our layers menu, color mask. I'm going to bring the opacity of the color mask right down. And I'm going to lock that off. I'm going to add a colors layer. But what I'm going to do here is going to enable masks. And I'm going to add color mask to it. Now watch what happens when I go into draw mode. And let's start building a palette for V here. I'm going to go ahead and make a new palette. Actually, let's get rid of that. New palette. V palette. Right. I'll just go back to my normal one and let's go with a skin tone. Let's see how this looks like. A little bit too... am I in standard or filmic here? I'm in standard. That's good. We want to be in standard. I want something that's a little bit more tanned, like that maybe. Yep, that's good. All right, I'm going to go with that. Go over to my V palette and add that as our first color. All right, now watch what happens. I'm going to color in this big chunk here, right? So I'm going to be a little bit careful around here, but then out here, I don't have to be very careful. Why? Well, you guessed it. The color mask is what is doing all the work. If I bring up that opacity, you can see how the mask is affecting these colors. If I go into edit mode and select all of the points, right, you can see that the points are out of bounds, but the mask makes that transparent. Yeah? So the tip there is, obviously, use a mask and then go in and do your fills. I mean, you're going to have to do some work with filling correctly. And I leave that as opaque, as opacity down to 0, because if you make the mask itself, if you hide it, it doesn't work as a mask, but the opacity can be 0, right? I'm going to switch off use lights. The other thing is, because this is directly referencing the mask here in the masks menu, I can have this color mask anywhere I want on the stack. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be above anything, below anything. And you can have as many or as few masks as you want. So if you want masks for things like eyes or whatever, you make a separate mask and then you just work with those. Okay. And that's a really good way of working. So why don't we go back to the palette and pick a hair color. It has to be quite a bright red. That's kind of cool, but maybe just a little bit too muted. So why don't we brighten that up a little bit there? That's looking very bright. Definitely push it more into the purples a little bit. Let's try that. Look, I can go with that. Usually I would get a reference picture and color pick from there. I mean, we could still do that, I guess. Let's see. Image editor, open. Did I get any references? Damn it, I didn't. Okay, I didn't pick up any references for this. All right, so let's, look, let's get the hair colored. Go right around like this. And where it meets the skin tone, that's obviously where we've got to do a little bit of cleanup work or just be a little bit more careful with it. Right. Just 1 second, I just got to go send an SMS. Right, and there. Yep. Now, if the mask isn't correct, you can see that I've got all of this area here, but some of the masking isn't working great. I'm still streaming, aren't I? Hang on. Am I still streaming? I hope so. Is it just my... Damn it. I'm going to go and edit this mask here. I haven't stopped streaming. I haven't paused streaming. I'm still streaming. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. That's good. Okay. I've just got one... yes, right. So I was going to just quickly edit this mask a little bit. Right. So again, you know, it depends what you can always see. Okay, that's good. Right, go back into draw mode. Go back up to our colors layer and get this bit of hair in as well. There and there. While we're here, we may as well do these eyes, which are going to be sort of a whitish color anyway. All 3D capability, Grease Pencil would be great software for storyboard animatics. Yeah. Oh, we know about that, some of us. Yes, we do. Okay, just going to get our eyes in there. Done like that. Let's get that in the color palette as well. So we've got those eyes. I know her lips aren't the same shade as her hair, but for now, I'm just going to drop in this color because it's very bold, very vibrant. And I know she's got blue eyes, doesn't she? You know, I should really... let's get a V from Arcane. I'm just going to get a reference here for myself. All right, looking good there. Yeah, I think she's got blue eyes. Red. She's got some tats, and I've missed this awesome scar on her face. Okay, well, we'll have to... And she's got 2 rings. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly save this image. Promotional Patreon assets, stills, no, speed paints. Right, and let's finally go to image editor. Yeah, let's get this image up. Okay, so we can get a good idea. Now we're talking. This is good. Right. So she has blue eyes, but they're sort of like a grayish blue. So I like this color here for her eyes. Now, the thing that I loved the most about the texturing of the eyes for Arcane was, I'm going to do this above the inks. Okay, so I'm going to go highlight inks here. Was that there were these little flecks, I think, and they kind of cut over everything, right? Little glints here. And so those flecks would sit on top of everything. Now, maybe I'm not so crash hot on the color of these eyes, so I'm going to do a quick trick here. Link, vertex paint. Let's go with a, oh, no. I just want a vertex draw on. There we go. These two, right? Okay, I can just vertex paint and change the color of that particular bit of work. Oh man, already with colors, she's really coming to life now, isn't she? Okay, so there's a sort of a matching between her hair color and this, but the hair's obviously got a bit more purple in it, which I've put over here. So what we're going to do is, let's go Vivy. The hell? What, did I just blow your tiny mind? Okay. Let's go and put this in. While seeing that in action, yes, it can be a little tricky. I'll say this right now because I think I've missed out an important detail as well. This is looking a little plain here. She does sort of have a bit of this thing going on here, but let's use this violet here. I'm also doing something called draw behind, right? This draw mode, draw strokes on back, means that if you get a really good chunk of coloring, you can always draw behind stuff. And here, what's going on here with this fill? Hello? I'll select. Why won't it let me select? There it is. Interesting. F. Aha, there we go. Didn't quite fill the gap it needed to. There we go. Right, so because we've got these vectors, let's fill. Right. You can sort of see how it can very quickly be added. So what do I want to do? Yes, I haven't collected that color, so let's throw that there and let's move that up. Maybe just after that. Good, so we got clothing colors. We also need that eye color there as well as that eye color here that we chose. So I'm building up this palette as I'm going. Let's save this. We definitely need a gray of some kind, a sort of charcoaly gray. Let's see if this is too dark. Yeah, it's not too dark, but I do want to work in a brighter. Okay, I'm going to go with that. And if it's not good, okay, turn off that. And so let's see if I can. I think all of this has got to be a sort of a charcoaly grey. This whole chunk there, and all of this. Right. Again, this is really rough. I keep saying. yeah, this is the bit that always annoys me and must look so annoying, even in Speedpaint, where I've got to sort of adjust little bits where they meet. But if you got, you know, good control, or, you know, good areas worked out, and it's not too bad to fix up, right? And again, sort of why I sort of like working with vectors is because I can just adjust and tweak just those little details, right? All right, so now, damn it, I need another reference. I need another reference of, right, so yes, save image as, let's grab the second reference here. Right, so we can see what's going on. Right, so there's a sort of a blue thing, and then there's this gold thing. Right, so this actually is blue. All right. Might just go with the skin tone and then the bandages first. So let's grab skin tone. Just going to do use data blocks. Will that? Yes, it does. Excellent. Good. Skin tone for the fists. Right. And now let's get a nice bandage color. Something close to skin tone but lighter. Oh, that's too yellow. Need it maybe more. That's good. That's sort of that's pushing it into the greens, but I kind of like it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it in the greens actually. Yeah. Yeah, that could be kind of cool. All right, let's get back to the V palette. Add that color. Now this is obviously something that we've got to be a bit careful with because we've got a lot of other... careful, he says, as he just really messes it up and has to go back in and edit. I wonder if Blender was a paid software, how much it would cost. Probably be subscription based now, but and it most likely have to be competitive. Look, there's a lot of software out there that even if it is paid, it just does such a good job. I'm a big fan of DaVinci, which I do my editing in, and that's a one-off charge. Clip Studio Paint actually is a one-off as well. So if you wanted to do more drawing in another program and didn't want to spend too much, I do recommend Clip Studio because you pay for it once and then all the updates are pretty much free. Not kidding. That's so you can always have the up-to-date one. The trick with Clip Studio is you wait for a sale. They're on every couple of months, every few months. There's a Clip Studio sale. A new version comes out, but it's worth getting the old one because then when the new one comes out, you can just do an upgrade. And the software does that for you. Same with DaVinci, right? That's a one-off payment. But yeah, I wonder what. Look, it's fun to speculate, but the reason it's free and open source is because, well, you know, Ton really wants it that way, for one. Oh, yes, I know. The whole ZBrush Maxon thing. You know, it's like that's a bit of a pain. Come on, I want to. Oh, there's that. All right, so that's a mask issue. Got it. Right. Blocking is almost done. Then I can get onto the shading. Let's go with this blue and just deepen it. Here we go. One, two, three. Now we've got some other subtle things going on, such as this. Brown. Yeah, just go with that. And a gold color. Let's go with this for the gold. Now this, I'm going to use the bucket fill. That worked. Bucket fill is always that little... It's there, it's present. I just wanted people to know that, yes, I am aware that there is a bucket fill. So this is going to be a little, again, it's going to be a little rough. Right. Now, nose ring. Here she's looking punk. Here she's got the nose ring down. And she's got a little scar on this lip as well. Why don't we put that scar in? So we'll go into draw mode and go into solid stroke. We will, yes, well, we do need to go back into inks. There we go. And we're going to put this back in, and it's sort of straight down, isn't it? Okay. Yes, yes, it. Do I leave that alone? Okay, let's grab that. And now I'm going to delete some points here. Undo that. All right. 2D, you know, the time it takes to do simple tasks. I'm actually doing some storyboards using an amazing add-on. It's simply called Storyboard. And again, you know, it's like, it's one of those things where you sort of have to learn a workflow. But I have found that it is intuitive. A guy called Ed White developed it, and he's extremely helpful because he knows what I'm using it for, and he's always willing to lend a hand. Overqualified. Look, there was a time, like, I tend to not like its editing tools. If I had to speak out of school on Blender, which is sort of, yeah, I don't like doing it. I don't, I'm not a huge fan of the VSE. Simply because I'm in a Blender environment and I come from an editing background, and there are certain things that I like in a video editor. And while Blender's VSE tries hard to get those right, I wrangle with it. You know, I sort of, I still wrestle a lot with it. I started with Blender since 2.9. Blender is a pioneer with open source. It is. Yeah, so look, there are some things, but like Grease Pencil has consistently surprised me. I'm, I've just found it more versatile than, okay, put it this way, I found it more versatile than it has any right to be. How about that? Is that a nice compromise? um, it was really a pleasure to sort of see grow out of this very simple annotation tool. I might have to subdivide this. Ooh. Okay. Right. Someone was mentioning. Oh boy, this is going back a little bit. Courses for Grease Pencil. There is a, what's his name? Dante something. He does great, concise little VTube type YouTube stuff, and like he's a great resource for just getting the basics of Grease Pencil down. Hey, look, hey, we've got the colors. All right, save that. Right, so now shading. Yeah, Dante, you know what I'm talking about. Like I might just whack a link to his channel here in the chat. Grease Pencil. Okay, hopefully. Dante. Okay. I'm just gonna put this here. That's the one. This is him, right? That guy, if you wanted to do, you know, just free stuff and just sort of learn the basics of Grease Pencil, he is going to sort of get you up and running in next to no time. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'll start with some scene lighting, maybe to get a sort of direction and stuff, and then I will do some more subtle shading, I think. So what's got lights? Inks, colors. We don't need pencils. Color master does not need to use lights, but the highlight inks would be kind of cool with the lights. I'm gonna have to switch over to keyboard and mouse for this. So just excuse me a moment while I do this, and let's bring in a light. Let's go with a point light here, right? Let's bump up the wattage and let's give this subtle coloring. I think we're going to go with blue and, oh, what was the old trope? Teal and orange. So we're going to go with the orange color over here, and then the orange is going to be off this side. Turn down our specular. Right, we want to make this fairly bright. Maybe increase the radius. Shadows, they're not really going to work much on this. But what we do need to have is a bit of distance so we can have a nice drop off on that. Something subtle. So that's going to subtly get that hair. Right, and on this side, I'm going to go with a nice sort of a bluish purple. Right. And we can place these pretty much anywhere we want. Just to get some subtle shades there. Yes, yes, you do want warm lights. So let's get this in here. Maybe make this a little bit warmer. Warmer still. There we go. It's subtle enough. We just want a nice gradient on some of those things. Now, I have hidden a very specific layer. So let's see, we want maybe more purpley red, bluish. It's a lighter blue. Right, then we grab in the Y direction. Oh, what have I done now? I locked something. Auto keying is on. Oh man. Right. Oh boy. Damn it! I can't seem to move anything. What did I go and do? What did I press? Okay, that's working. Okay, it's working now. Maybe it's okay. That's what I wanted to do. I want to bring this right in here. I'm going to drop the power, something fairly light. Just bring it on the y-axis a little bit more, just so we can get a bit of a highlight there. Now, if you want to do stuff with subtle shading on the eyes and things, yeah, we could definitely do that. But what I want to do now is get into some of the shading layer to really bring out some of these things. So now with that lighting set, let's go back into here, add another layer, and this is going to be shade. And I got my caps lock back to front. There we go. Great discussion going on there while I tinker away here. Keep it going, guys. I'll start with that. I won't use lights, and I'll bring down the opacity to maybe 0.4. And let's begin. Oh, actually, we've missed something. We need the gold color to make it feature, and the brown color to be in as well. This gold color needs to go in here. Oh, mask. The mask. Let's bring this back. behind the inks for some halo. Yes, yes, you can. I'm going to show you how that's done in a second. Okay. As soon as I get this mask in, what I'm going to do, instead of trying to edit that, I'm going to just do this. 1 and 2. There we go. Mask is edited. Is that all I needed for the colors? I think so. Got warmer on that one, brighter on that one. Yep. Excellent. So, all right, we got that. Let's go back to the shade here. And what I want to do is, normally my method is to go black and then just bring in, like things like hair, this method works really well, right? You can bring down that opacity quite significantly and just go to town with your shading, and it works pretty well. But when we get into skin tones, it's a bit hit and miss. So like that's looking all right, but I definitely want to do something a little bit brighter at some point. This is where I'm going to go ahead and darken just what the eyelids are covering on that eye, and then put in a bit of a thing there. Upper lip. Ah, yes. We've got the scar, didn't we? So let's go back into our inks here. And get erase point. And our scar is about here. I'll just throw that in here, and then I'll go into edit. Nice and subtle. Not too big either. So I think the scar was a little bit too ambitious there. So let's just bring that back. Object mode. Right. Yep, that's looking a lot nicer. Okay. Right, let's go back to our shade. Right. And let's now one thing I wanted to do was not always rely on black for the shading color. Sometimes if we get in, say, like a blue, right, can you see how that is a little bit more vibrant? Okay, we get this sort of interaction between the lighting, the skin tone underneath, all of that, and it just looks so much cooler, right? And so, like, I highly recommend, rather than using black to shade, shade with colors, right? Use your value system and all that. Deepen that a little bit over here, right? Because you end up with something that looks so much like, people just go, whoa. Right? Just using black is a good hack, and if you need to get something out quickly, go for it, because you can shade over many areas. But getting a little bit of color in there, what did I do? Oh, I went ahead in time, so to a keyframe where she didn't exist. Very meta. Right. You can see how that shading interacts with some of that lighting there. And just looks way cooler. So let's throw that in there. Yep. So now she's looking a lot. I read somewhere that they made GeoNodes easier to use in 3.0. My tutorials no, my GeoNode tutorials are not up to date. I am hoping to get some time to update them and then take down the old ones because they are way outdated. The guy to watch, or the person to watch, is definitely Erindale. Their work is, gosh, when it comes to GeoNodes, yeah, just go to his channel. It's damn amazing. What he does. It's just, yeah, it's just too cool. So yeah, look, updating stuff is always a bit of a hassle. Just because things change so rapidly. But definitely, I want to get onto that. I mean, you're talking about the building ones, yeah? I reckon I have not looked into it for a little bit, just because I've just been busy with other stuff. But I intend to go back to GeoNodes eventually, and maybe get some of those old building generator tutorials updated, because things have changed. I mean, just a couple of versions, and we've just got these amazing new tools to play around with. It's always felt like a bit of a crutch. Like a lot of people are just going, GeoNodes, awesome, and then everything is GeoNodes. All of a sudden, and I just have an aversion to that personally. I think when something looks like, oh, it can do anything. And Aaron and I had a discussion the other day where Aaron asked, where's grease pencil at? How do custom brushes work? All that sort of stuff. And then Aaron proceeded to create a custom grease pencil something completely in GeoNodes because they're mad. That's the only way I can describe it. Your tutorials do exactly what I want to do. Sad. Oh, that's perhaps one of the best compliments I've gotten. Right, gold, yes. Let's throw in the gold color here. Right. Oh, she's looking good. She's looking good. It's just, I don't like. Ugh. No, erase stroke. There we go. We'll do this one again. Do a do-over on that. A little bit more purple. Aww. Thanks, Noel. That's very kind of you to say. I'm trying to sort of get more comic style out of grease pencil. a lot of the animation stuff is just, oof, it's wonderful. And I wish I could animate as well as some of those guys, but like animation is definitely not my forte. Okay. I think we're gonna have to have a bit of, yeah, neck shading here as well. That's not the color I wanted. Ooh, damn it. Damn it, I didn't keep that color. So now it's gonna be a bit of a misfit. Or is it? That's alright. That's okay. Let's get some depth with this shading here. Now. Oop. Right, that could be a little bit messier around here because of my mask. Great. So what we want now, I guess, is a bit of highlight. But first, let's fix up this little bit of a color problem here, where we want a bit of skin tone to maybe cut in there, don't we? There we go. That looks better. And we definitely need gold on this ring here. I should probably just do that with a stroke, but I'm lazy and I don't want to switch my my tool. Right, highlights, I guess, and then we can call it done. Like, we've already got the highlights with with the lighting, but that sort of gives us a bit of color direction. I'm going to drop this quite low because this can get a little intense, and we're going to go with some nice blues here. And we can go, okay, so we're going to throw some highlights here. So someone was saying how to get this sort of bit of a rim light. Yeah, you just sort of paint that on. And if you want to be really clever about it, you can put that above the inks and then you get this sort of interesting effect, and you can change the blend mode, right, and sort of see how that works with, say, hard light. And what that does is that the inks just not naturally cut out, but because I want a bit of color in there, I'm going to just stick that to regular and put it under the inks, right? And maybe I might just not use the lights and the highlights, right? What that means is that if I click use lights, it means that the color information from the lights actually interacts with the highlights, which is kind of, actually, I'm going to leave it on because we're getting a bit more blue here, a bit more orange here, so that they do look like they're in the correct, what's the word, color space or color area. When we're trying to get these highlights, it's almost like, you know, she's got some nice backlighting here. Right. Let's just bring this down to maybe 0.2. Right, so this here is gonna... How often do I stream? Well, look, I'm at the moment, this is the first one of 2022. So I'm going to try to stream again when I have another one of these speed paints to do. So I'm not entirely sure when that is, I'm sorry. But definitely once a month, but I might try to build that up. The brushes are awesome in Grease Pencil. That's all I that's all I gotta say about that. Because you can customize them. I've set up custom brushes for myself. Like these two, the pencil blue and the pencil red. You can actually get these two brushes for free off my Gumroad. They just sort of add to the already diverse tool set. Now, you may have noticed these texture brushes here as well. These also come in Blender, but they're a little bit tricky to turn on. If you are using Blender and you want to know where they are, here is the hack. Edit, Preferences. There's this thing called Grease Pencil Tools, right? You enable that, and when that's enabled, under any brush setting, this now becomes apparent. It's download and import texture brush pack. You do that, and all of a sudden, all of these textures populate your brush set as well. The thing is that they're a bit intense, right? I'm going to show you what I mean. Let's say that we're almost done here, right? I want to just put a few highlights on her face there, so maybe just a little bit of orange there and blue on this side. Bit of that, and a bit of a highlight here, just under the eyes, so really sort of brighten that up. And colors, oh, actually, I'm going to put some shade on these eyes as well. Extra light. Right. And then some more highlight here. So maybe we can just do something like this. Right. Just give it a little bit more depth. Right. So now I will go to the camera view. I'm going to turn off these extras. And here is something I prepared earlier. This background here. This is going to, if I begin to chug, I really do apologize. I'm just going to turn off the, oh no, hang on. Keep that there. Fills. I used a texture brush for this. And if we go with use lights, it's a little bit more, you can see how that's sort of pastel-y, right? And I'm going to go, just going to click and drag, right? The texture brushes are in 3D space, right? And so they're thick. So depending on the view, you're going to get different effects, right? But yeah, look guys, I think what I'm going to do now is just put in her little tat there and just polish up some of this shadowing just to give her a little bit more personality. I think she's just got a little bit more chiseled areas around here. Yeah, that part of the nose definitely gets some shadow. This gets some shadow. I'll leave that that highlight there. But it's looking pretty good. Just find her shirt a little bit plain. I might sort of fiddle around with that color there. Let's go edit mode. Oh, yes, that's right. I've got to get those linked. Vertex paint. And let's just, yeah, deepen that, maybe even further, a bit more gray. Yeah, that's working. Very nice. Back into edit mode, and let's select this. Shift select this one and this. Oh, no, not that one. Nope, not that one. Not you. God, why it's so difficult. There we go. These ones. Right? And back into vertex. And let's make this nice and dark. Even darker. There we go. All right, now she's looking much better. Yep. Great. Where are we at with streaming? How long have we been streaming for? Oh, wow, we've been streaming for nearly 2 hours. And this is where I've gotten to. It's actually pretty cool. All right, what was the last thing I was going to do? Oh, yes, her little tat. Yes, that's right. So I might not do this on the inks layer. I might do this on its own little layer here. Tat. Give this... it's sort of a bluish thing. solid stroke. How about deep purple? There we go. And let's see. That's okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's a good one. So let's draw this little IV or VI. One. And we've got a line across there. A line across there. Edit. Select. And then we can drop the opacity a little bit like that. Watching someone's live workflow is enlightening. Yeah. All right. What do you guys think? Should we call her done? Let's bring in that that fill again. It's got a sort of a pastel-y type of fill, and we definitely want it to integrate with everything else. So maybe what I'll do is I might, let's see now. Were you just doing a transform on the eye there? I went into edit mode and I just manipulated some of the vertices there. Let's just go into side view here and we will put this cursor over here so that we can paint in front and use lights. I'm going to drop this opacity right down. What am I trying to do here? Well, I'm going to use a texture like clouds or oil or maybe this spray. Yeah. And I'm going to bump up that radius to as big as it can get. Let's just see what it looks like. Eesh. Yeah, looks pretty awful. Let's get that radius beyond large. Okay, there we go. And let's do a nice sort of a bluish. It's still not, you know what, that's too thick, that spray. What I want is something like, yeah, the oil textures. Let's bump that right up. Make the strength pressure sensitive as well. So let's see here. No, what I'm going to do is this, 500. Let's do something like, okay, it'll all become clear in a second what I'm doing. Basically trying to get in some texture. All right, and this may not work. This may not work. So please bear with me for just 1 second. I'm going to try to get a bit more texture in here. Ah, we haven't highlighted the hair either, have we? Right, so that when I bring this right down, right, it looks a bit, you know what, I don't think that worked. Let's nix that. Let's go back to 3, edit mode, select now, inks, select all, and we're gonna cursor to selected. There we go. Draw mode. Let's run Blender as a portable anyway. Oh, thanks for coming, LC. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap things up here. That's right, highlights in the hair. That's what I'm missing. So I'm just gonna throw in the highlights in the hair, and then we can probably call that done. So let's go back to our ink pen, solid fill, and let's have a look here. Got some nice highlight lines. Nope, wrong color. Bright. Oof, that's too bright. What happens if we brighten up the reds? Some sort of a pink, purple. Okay, Okay, that's a bit better, right? Okay. Let's drop that in. Great. Nice big patch here. What do you think? Yep, that's better. Okay. All right. How's that looking? I'm not entirely happy with that. I'm just going to get rid of these patches and start this one again. Let's go with a little bit more anime style. Okay. Okay. All right. It's looking a lot better there. Now, what we're going to do, I think I'll grunge her up in post. What do I mean by that? Well, let's get that fill in. And let's get our compositing window up. Use nodes. And let's get a render out. There's our render. Oh, looking good. Okay, let's bring the render up in here. Image editor. Render result. Yes, there we go. All right, I think what I might do is I'll put away the toolbox. So let's go. Just gonna cancel that. Is OBS still running? Should be. Did OBS is already running? Cancel. Okay, well, where is it? There we are. Okay, good. Phew. For a second there, a little bit worried. Right, let's bring back a keyboard, mouse. Thanks for sticking with me, everyone. We're almost done here, so hopefully, boy. Yes. What we're going to do here is bring in tried and true texture that I have in my texture library. Just this one here. That's nice. And we'll just give it a composite mix. I'll just set that to color burn. No, multiply overlay. I think overlay will work, but we definitely need to increase this size. So let's bring in transform, scale. Okay, there we go. Overlay. And we can drop the factor. So we grunge it up a little bit, maybe multiply. None of it's really... soft light might work. Looks a bit more grungy there, but yeah. Still streaming. Yay, I'm still streaming. Excellent. Yeah, she's sort of missing something. Do you think maybe we should have some sort of a halo light behind her? You know, something... Yeah, I think we're going to go with something like that. So let's go back into 3D Viewport and let's mess about with this lighting. Now, the fills are using lights. So if we grab... Come on. Should be able to grab the lights. Might have to go into outliner. That one. Excellent. Duplicate it. And let's pull this back. Aha! There we go. Let's increase the lighting here. How's that, huh? Let's bring this right up. And now we can mess about with lighting some of this background here in interesting ways. All right. There we go. So I'm going to have to... Nope. There's that light. And have to grab that one. Come on, grab the light. There we go. Let's duplicate it and bring it up there. So now we can just sort of mess about with some lighting. And finally, what if I did that to the inks? Lighting the inks. Actually it won't work because it's all on the same grease pencil objects. But I was going to do like a glow behind her. The inks should be interacting with the lights there. Maybe. No, what I can do with the inks is I can give them an adjustment. So I can actually increase the stroke a little bit. And I can maybe even tint them a little bit. So maybe we can sort of push it into, say, the purples and then increase the factor there, right? And so now she looks a bit, you know, just subtle enough to know that it's not entirely black. All right. So look, I'm quite happy with that. So what do you guys think of that? Is she working? I think she's working. Yes, that backlighting is definitely something. All right, I'm gonna call it a day, guys. Thank you for joining me on this stream. I'm going to get this turned into a speed paint, and that'll be out on the YouTube channel and in other places soon, as soon as I can get that edited. But yeah, look, here is Vi, yeah, God, did I have to go there? From Arcane. Yeah. So look, I'll see. Like, I'll definitely put notifications out. If you want to know, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, I know you hear it all the time. You can always get a notification when I put up a notification in the community where I sort of announce that I'm going to do another live stream. I also and I often post my poll from Patreon pretty much everywhere, so people can join in and vote on the next speed paint, whatever that's going to be. So I'll pick a theme for that. I'm wondering what to do next month. There was a couple of things. I know the Expanse is finishing next week. Do I go with an Expanse theme for February's one? Or is something else on the horizon or on the radar that a lot of people are talking about? Maybe I'll pick that. But look, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Really, it was great to have you around and great to be streaming again.